Hello and welcome to the Big Bark Podcast, bringing you the latest news from the canine world. Each week we talk to different professionals working in the canine industry across Ireland, from pet shop owners to groomers, behaviour specialists and vets. We will be discussing hot topics with our puppy panel, reviewing the best products, food and treats, the best places to take your dog on a day out, and the most dog-friendly venues in Ireland. We'll also be chatting with dog owners to find out more about the bonds that make a dog man's best friend. Your host for this podcast is Dara Burke, a dog lover with a passion for canine psychology and behaviour. Dara's own dogs, Bruno and Millie, will also join in from time to time and will be sure to offer their own big bark along the way. Time to bring on your host and start the show.
To episode 5 of The Big Bark, the best doggy chat show podcast on the planet. My name is Dara and I'm your host for this podcast, and together with my two canine co-hosts I bring you the best news in the canine world. I have with me Bruno, my wonderful Bloodador, and Millie, my beautiful Golden Labrador. It's Mental Health Week this week, so we have a very special mental health based episode for you. So today we're going to be chatting about the positive effects a dog can have on your mental health, how a dog can improve your socialization skills, how a dog can be a great companion for someone suffering with depression or loneliness, as well as the effects that losing a dog might have on your mental health. I'll share my own experience about what it was like for me to lose my last dog, Coco, and the effects it had on me, and how also Bruno and Millie have helped me to recover from that loss. Today on our show, I'm delighted to be joined once again by Kieran from Muppets Ireland. Kieran was such a great talk on episode 4 that show we decided to have him back again. Hey Kieran.
How you doing, Dara? Great to be back.
Good. Later on we're going to be joined by Dr. Tim Kirby from petbond.ie, a new website helping people to source a happy and healthy pet from approved breeders or rescue centres. Tim will be telling us all about petbond.ie and will be offering his experience as a vet of the effects that dogs have on our mental health, and also the effects that we as humans have on our dog's mental health. We're also going to be playing a new fun game which Kieran is going to be participating in, and it's called Who's Barking? And for our adoption corner this week, we're going to be checking in to see what wonderful dogs are available for rehoming from Ash Animal Rescue in County Wicklow. All this to come on episode 5 of The Big Bark. So let's get things kicked off and meet our guest for this week. Kieran, as I said, really good to have you back on the show. What's been happening in the world of Muppets?
The world of Muppets is doing very well. We've 2 new customers signed up there this week. Longford County Council contacted us and were very eager to put Muppets in their walks and parks up in Longford. And Laois County Council also contacted us, and just like the same as Longford, they have now started putting Muppets dispensers and bags in their park. So it's been a very busy week.
Fantastic. And since our last chat, I mentioned to you previously, I got a response from Limerick City Council. So I'm just going to read out that response there. Basically asking about their policy. Is there any intent to provide adequate bin and dispenser facilities by Limerick City and County Council in areas frequented by dog walkers now in the future? Well, the official response I got from the council is as follows. Limerick City and County Council operates an any bag, any bin policy when it comes to dog poo. We have had a number of campaigns calling on dog owners to be responsible and take pride in their locality and Limerick by cleaning up after their pets. Bins are provided, and if there are no bins, dog owners should bring their dog's poo home with them and dispose of it there. New litter management laws are in draft stages, and councillors can inform the executive what their wishes are.
It's hard to know what the thinking is in county councils. You have to actually go meet with them face to face and produce the product for them. We have found in a lot of councils around the country, we're now involved with about 20 to 22 councils and county councils around the country, and we found that it takes a while to get them to come around to a different way of thinking. like Limerick City and County Council would be the same vein. You know, it's not something that has been operational here in this country for years and years and years. You put up a bag dispensers and then people take them and use them to pick up after their pet. Limerick, as the response was, they do operate any bag, any bin scheme, but that's fine, and it's very helpful to people that have a bag of dog waste that they can put it into any bin. However, the issue for a lot of walkers is that they either forget to bring their bags with them, they run out of bags, or they just haven't had time to go to the store to get bags or source them. So they take the dog for a walk. A popular walking route would be the Condell Road. Another popular walking route would be the city to the Limerick University out of Jewel. So they go, oops, Bruno the dog, or Shep the dog, or Millie the dog, then goes to the toilet. They find that they have no bag. So, you know, then they walk down a couple of yards down the path or down the walkway, and they see a bin with any bag, any bin. You know, and you know, you have the end result. You have the bins, but you don't have the bag. So, you know, it takes a while for councils to see that people, best nature in the world, won't or will forget to bring a bag with them. And if the bags were provided, then you would have a solution to a lot of dog pollution. It's human nature to forget these things. But if they're there, I think you can put a lot more pressure on people to then start picking up, you know, to say, well, hey, there's bags down there 50 yards down the road on a dispenser, you know, use them. As I say, Limerick City Council have provided a couple of dispensers, all right, on the Greenway down in Rathkeil to Newcastle West. And Joe O'Connor was very proactive in getting them from us, and has pushed hard for those to be put in there in the Greenway. So they haven't totally, we'll say, gone away from mutt mitts, or totally decided to not use mutt mitts or any other provider. But like a lot of councils, they're just slow and changing, and you know, we'll keep pushing, and we'll hopefully get them to change their minds over the next coming years.
Brilliant, Joe. Right, okay, so let's move on to our main topic for today. We touched a bit the last day about the passing of your own dog, Pepper, and how you like pizza, so your new dog is called Pepperoni. How is Pepperoni?
Pepperoni is fine. You know, she's a great dog. She runs around. She let her out. She'll do laps. She's like a marathon runner. She'll do laps at the house. She'll keep running around all day. She's a great dog. She knows when you're up, and she knows when you're down. She knows when you're cross, and she knows when you're in good humour. So, you know, dogs are just fantastic.
And just going back there when you mentioned it, she knows when you're cross. And recent studies have actually come out and say that like a dog's eyes have changed over the years and developed over the years, and they believe that dogs' eyes have changed in a way to, I suppose, manipulate humans, and like that way that like they can actually, their body language can, I suppose, be used to manipulate our emotions and how we feel towards them.
Yeah, well, there's no doubt about it that dogs have the same emotions as humans. I've no doubt about that. They'll jump around when you're in good humour. They'll jump around with you. They'll lie down and be quiet when you're sad. I've no doubt that when you often heard the saying, those puppy dog eyes, you'd hear that in relationships. Don't be looking at me with those puppy dog eyes. It's almost like to try and melt you, to get you to do something you don't want to do, or, you know, throw them a treat. But, you know, dogs, there's no doubt that they have evolved over time, just like humans have, to fit their emotions in with yours. That's my view on it anyway.
Okay. We're chatting with Kieran from Muttments Ireland today. It's Mental Health Week this week, so we're chatting to Kieran about how mental health has an effect on how our dogs have an effect on our mental health, rather. Kieran, how has your dog, how has Pepperoni impacted your own mental health personally?
Oh yeah, there's no doubt that we all, like humans, just all humans, and we all have ups and downs, and we'd all, might lose a job, might lose a friend, lose a companion. Something might go wrong in your life. You might see a very bad accident, and when you go home that evening, you have your dog. There's no doubt the dog knows something's wrong. I find with Pepperoni that if I was at home, just kind of sitting there, I wouldn't be my own active self. We'll say that she'd just see me just slouched in the couch. She comes up and she just puts her head on my knee and just sits there. Doesn't do a whole lot. Just puts her head across my lap. She'd do the same if I was driving and she knew that I was kind of driving somewhere that I didn't want to be going but had to go, like to, for the sake of argument, a funeral. She just sits there, puts her head down my lap, and then when it's time to take a break, she'll take a break, give me my time, and then she'll do the same. And on the other side of the coin, when I'm in good humour then, or something's good is happening, she'll be bouncing around the place because she knows you're happy, you're vibrant, you want to get out and about, and she'll be mad to go for a walk with you. So my dog anyway wants to be with me all the time. So it really picks you up when you're down, and dogs are great like that.
Brilliant. And I'll completely agree with that. Like, I find it my own too. Like, I went through a spell there not so long ago where I was feeling kind of, I suppose, about her, I wouldn't say depression, but even a bit of anxiety, and they know straight away, they know how to comfort you, and I just feel like that bond that we have, it's like we're connected on such a much deeper level. And I suppose the human canine bond can actually be traced back to over 20,000 years ago to the bond of our castle dog that was found actually buried with two humans. The skeleton remains, it was only in the last few years these skeleton remains were discovered. But even going back that far, that the bonds that are there between man and dog, and it just shows that a dog really is a man's best friend, and vice versa.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. Like, dogs know from your body language something's not right. They know from your voice. They know from your demeanour. Dogs get kind of the same illnesses as humans. So there's no doubt that they have the same thought process. Like, they're your friend. And when you really need a friend, they're there for you. Like, we all need a friend at some time or other. And I'm not advocating that every single person in the country gets a dog by any means, but the people that have dogs, they will know by looking at them, or the dogs looking at the human will say something's wrong, and they'll be there for you. And take your lead off dogs, because they will you know that they're there for you. So if they want to go for a walk, go with them. A bit of fresh air, always. You see the dog jumping around, you think of all the good times you've had with the dog, then you'll find that your mental health will just, I'm not saying it'll cure you from any problems, but it will definitely help you, because you'll say, oh, well, let's go to this place, or let's go that place, let's take the dog for a walk down to the river and let her jump around. Those kind of happy-go-lucky events really help people with their mental health.
And there's a very good professor in the US, Professor Gregory Burns in Emory University, who has been doing an experiment for the last, I suppose, it's nearly 7 years this experiment has been going on. And the purpose of the experiment is to find out if dogs love us for more than just food. And to do this, he's actually used MRI experiments. He's put a dog that's awake, he's had to train them up to get them to lie still in the MRI machine, which in such a confined space, I can only imagine how hard that is. But he's done remarkable work on this, and so far all his research has showed that, like, all along people thought dogs only want you for food, but dogs love you for so much more. They love you for your companionship with them as well.
Yeah, look, if dogs only loved us for food, and only really love food, nothing else, I'm sure they wouldn't hang around too often, too long, because a lot of people may not feed their dogs properly, or they may not feed them with the top €80 a kilo bag of grub. So you see dogs sitting at people's doors there and they haven't been fed all day, but they'll still welcome the person home in the evening. So are they waiting for them because they know they're going to get food, or are they waiting for them because they know them? You know, you'll find if they're not fed, they'll still be waiting till the next day and the next day. So, you know, you have to look at it that, you know, dogs will love you for, I think, the way you treat them. If you treat them well, they'll love you. And, you know, dogs don't, I don't believe that they hang on just for the food. I think there's a bit more to it than that.
Absolutely, I completely agree. And I do think that the work that Professor Burns is doing in Emory University, when the research is complete, will see real proper data on that as well.
Well, it'll be interesting. It's an interesting study, and I would agree with the tenet of the whole thing that there is more to dogs than just loving food.
And do you feel that dogs are good for socialisation and like getting you out to meet new people as well?
Oh yeah. If you're living on your own and you have a dog, and you take it out for walks, and you're going to meet other dog walkers. You know, it's an excuse to go to the park where there's maybe 20 other dogs. You know, you might even, you know, as they say, you might even meet a hot-looking young female dog owner. You might start chatting over dogs. That's her pet. That's her child. That's her baby. And you can chat with her about, well, this is your child. And you know, you have a common bond already because you have two dogs. So, you know, it's good for that sense. And there's dog parks that people, I know of one particular one in Leixlip where a lot of people go to, and they started off a couple of years ago, and now you'd often read that they bring flasks with them and they sit there and the dogs run around in the little park, and we'll say the dog's parents or the dog's owners are all there sitting there chatting, and I've no doubt that there's, you know, a bit of romance going on there with single owners, you know, and it's great. It's a great idea. It's a great way of socialising. It's like going to the aisle in going shopping in like Dunn's or Tesco's, and you meet people that are there every single Thursday evening. You say, you know, it's very like that socialising, and you meet them and you say hello, and next week it's hello, how you doing, and the following week it's got to meet you here every Thursday. I've nothing else to be doing, you know. And it's a great way of socialising, no doubt about it. Yeah.
And you know, just touch on that as well. Like when I first got Bruno, it was literally my dad had got him the day after our last dog Coco passed away. Like Dad is really old fashioned, and that was his way of dealing with it. But around the same time, it was about a week later that I met my current girlfriend Jen. And we often joke about it that it was the dog that she stayed around for. It was Bruno she stayed around for. Like, Bruno was only a 12-week puppy then, so like the day more like she asked me out, she asked where this was going, why Bruno came with me, and I was like, look, there's a little puppy here, you wouldn't say no to a little puppy.
Well
so,
that's going back to the dogs hang around for food, you know, like the new girlfriend, she wasn't hanging around for food, she was hanging around for Bruno.
Exactly,
and you were like the icing on the cake.
Yeah, that's
so
that's exactly.
You could look at it that way, and what better way, you know?
Okay, so right now, speaking of how good dogs are for socialisation, I spoke with Dr. Tim Kirby of PetBond.ie. Tim is a vet up in County Wicklow, and I spoke with him a little earlier. And Tim's mission at PetBond is all about assisting people to find their new best friend by connecting them with reputable breeders and rescue centres, and they offer connections with all rescue centres all over Ireland. They're only launched a few months, but they're growing rapidly. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play the interview with Tim, and we'll be right back after this. So keep listening, and I hope you enjoy this clip from Tim. Here we go. Okay, so joining me on the line right now is Dr. Tim Kirby, founder of PetBond.ie, a new website which helps prospective owners to link up with approved breeders and rescue centres across Ireland to find a new pet. Tim, a very big welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dara. Delighted to join you.
Great, Tim. This is a fantastic and a very unique idea. Tell me about PetBond.ie and where the idea came from.
Yeah, the idea came, Dara, when I was in practice myself. I work as a vet, and a young couple came into me one night with a puppy that they had bought online, And when they only had bought him about 3 days previously, and they were told that he was healthy, that he was checked by a vet, that he was vaccinated, and that he had been exposed and socialised with children as a puppy. So they got the puppy and they thought, okay, everything's fine here. Now, what happened after is he became very ill. He became seriously sick and we had to operate on him. And what I actually discovered was that the little puppy was sold by basically a puppy trader, is essentially what it was. And, we had to work very hard to save that puppy's life. And it was then really I decided, okay, there's such a gap, there's such a vacuum for people that are actually looking to safely source a pet online. And people, are often surprised when I tell them that 4 out of every 5 people that look to get a new puppy in particular actually look online to buy it. Now, what I've done through PetBond is I've put in a whole new system. There's a quality assurance element to it as well. And a lot of veterinary detail has gone in to make this the safest and the most trusted thing for anyone that wants to find a pet, regardless of the type of pet they're actually looking to find.
Okay, great, Tim. And Tim, how big of a team have you involved in PetBond?
At the moment, Dara, we have 4 of us involved. The decision makers at the moment are vets who interact with the public, who receive the information coming in, and we process that information as well. So we are planning to expand early in the new year, and we would like to, we're definitely scaling at a national level and beyond, and we've already generated significant interest in what we're doing here. So we're very, very excited about the future. And, we're basically welcoming as many Irish people as we can to this platform and changing a lot of images, Dara. There's a lot of stereotypes and we hear a lot of negative headlines about pets in Ireland. And we're really here, as a team, welcoming people in and expanding and profiling our message that there are more good people in Ireland when it comes to pets than not.
Okay, brilliant. And tell me, Tim, how does the platform work? So how easy is the platform for someone to use?
It's very, very easy. Dara, people can use it from their mobile, they can use it from their desktop, and in particular, we find people using it from their mobile phone itself. So all you do is, if you're somebody that wants to sign up as a registered breeder and an approved breeder, you just literally log into petbond.ie and you follow the sign-up process. Very, very easy to use. If you're somebody that's looking to source a pet, you can literally browse in and you look at our drop-down menu. So you can choose either from a rescue centre pet or from an approved breeder as well. And we go into each pet's profile. We look at the breed of dog. We look at the age of dog. We look at, are they suitable for families? We show what they like, what they dislike as well. Are they house trained already? So you can basically find what you're looking for here as well. And if you're a member of the public that's unsure or you're not actually very clear on what type of pet you actually want, we help you as well through that process. And, you don't have to rush into it. You can take your time. And when we have the right pet, we liaise back with you as well. So it's a very visual process. It's very interactive, but it's very, very easy to use.
And Tim, what has been the response so far from people?
Oh, it's been huge. We're overwhelmed, Dara. We have so many people that want to get pets from various sources, both rescues and approved breeders. And we've had so many breeders coming to us as well saying that at last we have a trusted platform, that we're not puppy farmers, we're not somebody engaged on this at an industrial scale. And now we have a credible platform where we can connect with genuine members of the public looking for a happy pet that is well socialized and a healthy pet as well. So that has been overwhelming. And the response from the public too, it's, they have the satisfaction and most of all the peace of mind. So we're seeing more and more people coming every day. We have other parties, interested in what we're doing as well. And as I said, we're always open to discussion. We're always open to taking ideas in. And we're certainly growing at a rapid rate, which is very, very good for a young startup enterprise here in Ireland.
Very true, especially with the threats coming of Brexit and God knows what else. Now, Tim, what have been the big challenges for you so far? Like, given that it's such a unique website and such a unique platform, what have been the challenges in getting to this stage?
I suppose it's like any startup. When you're doing something different, you're going to change certain mindsets of people. You're offering something completely different, so you've got that period of time where people need to get their head around it. And they need to understand what you're doing. But people started to engage very, very quickly with this because it touches a chord with people, really. And we know that so many people like pets and they want to get a pet and they want to do it safely. So that has really accelerated that period of transition for people with a startup as well. So getting the awareness out there is probably the number one, getting that voice where we can reach as many people. And linking and networking with people in a similar space to spread that word is probably the biggest challenge we face, because we have other big voices that are not doing the job as well, shall we say, that have massive corporates behind them. And it's just like any good business that's starting out, you have to accept that and you have to get your very clear message out as well. So we're getting out there at a rapid rate, I'm glad to say, and we have plenty more good messages coming soon. So I'm sure we will be heard in time.
Brilliant, Tim. And Tim, just going back there, touching on the fact that there are so many puppy farmers in Ireland, there are so many bad breeders. What do you think can be done in Ireland to enforce regulation on this? Or is there anything that can actually be done to improve that?
There are a lot of things that can be done, but it's again, how willing are people to actually do it? We've various bodies that give advice. There's a lot of forums. There's a lot of group thinking sessions, but nothing happens. So what we've done here is we've tried to centralize the people that are thinking like us and that actually want to do something. So again, we're actually bringing in a platform where we're protecting the pet's welfare and we're protecting the public that get the pet as well. So I suppose we're actually doing what a lot of other agencies should be doing, and baking them all together into one system. But we do need, the public really to wade in behind this. And it's almost like the public voting with their feet, are that if they don't go to other places, they're upsetting the supply chain. And there is a huge demand and people will meet that by supplying. So our message to people is now you can supply and you can also fulfill the demand using a different platform through Pet Bond. And by doing that, we've got the attention of some senior people in various organisations in Ireland that work in the animal health sector, that work in the animal welfare sector, and also work at an official level. So we're getting the ear of people together, and we're trying to say to them, okay, that if we can expand this model, if we can get further support behind it, we can actually do the things that are going to create change instead of talking about it any further. Because relying on some of the old institutions to create change just will not happen with the best will in the world. It hasn't happened. I didn't see it happening. Therefore, I decided to do something and welcome those people to this.
That's brilliant, Tim. And Tim, given that this is Mental Health Week in Ireland, I just want to touch on with you as a vet. What do you see as the biggest mental health benefits that a dog offers to their owners? I've taken a look at the website and I have seen some articles on the website there on the pet care section, which some really helpful articles there. One there is why your pet is always your best friend, cheer up the lonely. So what is it you think that makes us, particularly dogs, what is it do you think that bond that's there between humans and dogs, that it's so special, and how dogs can have that really positive effect on us?
It's a good point, Dara, and I suppose you can go back over the generations, back to that line, dog's a man's best friend. They literally are, and it's now we have scientific data to back it up, and we can quantify it and we can prove it. And one interesting stat that jumped out at me recently was one that 74% of pet-owning people are more likely to show improved mental health as opposed to non-pet owning. I mean, that's a significant statistic in itself. And, we work with groups in America where we receive information from, and we're assessing, various parameters here for them in return. And one very, very interesting fact is that even the physical act of hugging a pet releases dopamine. It releases oxytocin, which are hormones that come from your brain into your blood. And we know, Darragh, that they actually reduce blood pressure. They reduce your heart rate. They reduce stress, and they improve your mood. So we know this from the medical professionals that actually measure this for us. And, affection from a pet, showing affection for a pet, they override certain fear centers in the brain, and they relax people, they improve their mood, and they reduce depression. I could stay here for probably 3 hours describing the actual medical benefits of it. And when you think about it, really, it is that bond, as you said, the bond between the person and the pet, and the mutual reliance on one another. And we see one of the most beneficial effects on the mental health, apart from the physical effects of actually getting up every morning, having to walk your dog, to physically improve your body as well. It's an actual profound effect on people. And one thing that people always say to me is their dog gives them a routine. Without having a dog, they wouldn't really have that purpose or the routine to get up at a certain time, to clean up, feed their dog, bring it out, do various little tasks. But it puts a lot of structure on people's days, which they wouldn't have otherwise. And, that's a very, very important thing for most of us, to have a little structure to our lives.
And equally, Tim, just touching there, it's not just for us. Obviously, that bond that's there, it goes the other way too. It has a really positive effect on our dog's health. And I actually read recently research that was done not so long ago where a dog can actually pick up on your stress levels. And if you're stressed, your dog will feel stressed.
Very much. I mean, I'd agree totally with that, Darragh. I see it with my own dog even, Dream. Even since we got her as a little puppy, socialising her, and she gets very sensitive and she picks up on that. It's almost like the energy around her body that we can't actually see, but we feel. And the smallest little things change in mood. Straight away, her reactions are different. She's, she picks up on certain cues. She knows how to approach you differently. When you're sad, you can see a physical change in the dog as well. And for somebody that doesn't own a pet, it's almost impossible to explain that. But once you do have a pet and you see it, it's almost seeing is believing. It's a profound change in a dog, and it shows the emotional intelligence that they do have, and you could never, ever underestimate that. And it's a thing I always say to people, and I have done all my life, people that bring dogs into the clinic as well, that never underestimate how intelligent dogs are. It's absolutely amazing.
And then tell us about your dog, tell us about Dream and the experiences that you've had with Dream and the benefits that your dog has had for you.
Yeah, she's actually a cross, Darragh. She's a cross between a Staffy and a boxer, and I got her, she was just under 8 weeks old. She was one of 10 in the litter, and where I got her, it was 10 puppies. It was too much for the gentleman to look after, so he was looking to rehome them. So we took this little lady Dream. She was the smallest and the last little puppy in the litter. And since we've had her, she's done all the brilliant things like puppies do, chewing chairs, tables, shoes. Honestly, she's literally gone through everything, Darragh, that we've owned, I'd say, at this stage. But it's just normal puppy behaviour that you expect. And you try and limit the damage as much as you can. But, hey-ho, that's the joys of having a puppy. But what we get back in return from her, I mean, it's worth it tenfold. Just the happiness she's brought to us. Every single time I bring her out for a walk, there's people and children coming up patting her and saying, oh, she's a little doggy we saw the last day we were in the car and we saw her, and, the happiness she brings to their faces. Even myself there, sometimes I've long days, and my wife, and you come back and she jumps up and, she gives you a little lick, or, she cuddles up to you, and, it's just that element of joy she brings. You couldn't really buy it. It's hard to quantify it, but once you feel it, you realise, okay, this is the joy of really, really having a pet.
Brilliant, Tim, and I can completely relate to that as well. My own 2 dogs here, I don't know where they are right now, they're in bed or something, but I feel the same with them, and that bond just there is just, it's like it's magic. It's hard to describe. But Tim, on the other side of that, as a vet, you must see a lot of people who would have to, I suppose, put their dogs to sleep, and the loss of a pet. And I've experienced this myself a few years ago when we lost our last dog, Coco, to cancer. and the loss of a pet, it has a massive impact on the owners. Would you agree with that?
Oh, very much. It's a very emotionally traumatic experience, Dara. You know, you're dealing with people that have had that special bond with their pet for years, you know, that have gone through so many life experiences together that even they wouldn't have had with humans. And so that's what you're dealing with when people present their dog. It's a lifetime's experience in some cases. And that moment, you know, you're actually breaking that bond physically, even though you're not doing it intellectually or emotionally. So it's as a vet as well, it's a very poignant moment when you have to do it as a professional. But you realise that the affection and the joy that person has to that point even still for that dog, but you realise they're doing it for the best interests of the welfare of the pet. So in some ways, Dara, as a vet, we'd say it's almost a privilege to be in that position. It's ironic as it sounds, that you can share that moment with somebody and they put their absolute trust in you at that point with their dog. That a dog they've gone through so much with as well during their lifetime. So it's a very emotional experience for some people. And, you know, I find that sometimes people need a reflection period before they consider getting a new pet. You know, they just need to, take stock of it. Is it a good time? You know, what type of pet will we get now? What are our expectations? Are they different as well? So just like a period of reflection is often a good idea as well, because it's like any trauma in somebody's life there, you know, it takes time to recover from it. And we strongly encourage that, you know, let's go through that process. And it's a grieving process for people that does take time, but we respect that and we encourage them along that period as well.
Excellent, and that's really good advice. And just one final question: what's the plan? What's the plan going forward for PetBond.ie? Where do you hope for it to go?
Yeah, we would say hopefully our plan there fairly soon is we want to be recognised as the most trusted platform in Ireland, the largest platform in Ireland for anybody looking to source a pet. And as we speak, we're in that process of upgrading a lot of things we have at the moment as well, reaching out to more people to support us. Because I truly, absolutely, 110% believe that with the support of the public, with the support of good breeders in Ireland as well, with the support of the best rescue centres collectively, that by coming together, we can support good practice in Ireland and walk away from some of the practices that we do not encourage for pets, and we can create change. And I want PetBond to be the tool or the vector that people use in creating that change. And it is the people that are going to create the change. We're the platform, and our doors are wide open for people to support that platform. And together, we can definitely create change.
And Tim, I wish you the very best and all the success on PetBond.ie, and I hope to have you on the show again very soon.
Absolutely. Love to come on, Dara, and I love the work you guys are doing as well. It's fantastic. I listen in myself, get some great advice, and we'll strongly be encouraging people to tune into yourself as well, Dara.
That's brilliant. Dr. Tim Kirby, founder of PetBond.ie. A big thanks again for joining me today on The Big Back.
You're welcome, Darren. Pleasure.
Thank you, Tim. Okay, and a big thanks to Dr. Tim Kirby from PetBond.ie for joining us today. Be sure to check out the site if you're looking for a new dog, if you're looking to find some reputable breeders or some great animal rescue centres from around the country. PetBond.ie is your one-stop shop to find all those rescue centres and breeders. So, moving on now, and going back to our original topic, which is mental health. We heard a lot from Tim there about how dogs can affect your mental health positively, and I suppose we heard from Tim as well about how the effect of losing a pet that can have on our mental health as well. Now, I know that personally myself, because a few years ago I lost my own dog Coco. Unfortunately, we lost Coco to cancer. She originally had a cyst, and the cyst actually burst. According to the vets at the time, the wonderful team out at Treaty Veterinary Clinic in Cholmongate in Limerick, who did everything they could to save her. But unfortunately, the cancer had spread so badly that we weren't able to actually save Coco. and there was nothing we could do for her. We obviously took the heartbreaking decision to actually put her to sleep, and it's something that really affected me, like, in the most devastating way possible. Like, I think I cried for days afterwards, and I genuinely felt a sense of emptiness inside me. And talking with Kieran from Muppets Ireland here on this topic, Kieran, you lost your dog Pepper a few years back as well, and like, you can resonate with that. You can tell like how hard it is on your mental health for something like that to happen.
Oh, definitely. I had Pepper was the first dog I myself probably ever had, and got her around the same time as one of my daughters was born. So the Pepper and Gwynedd kind of arrived. I don't know which one was worse or better, but both arrived around the same time. So Pepper was about 17 and a half, 18 years old when she had to be put to sleep. She actually got a stroke about 2 years previous, and a friend of mine, a doctor, actually said, I think your dog is after getting a stroke. So she had all the characteristics of stroke. She had a droop, her mouth was drooping, her eye was down, she was very almost like paralysed on one side, and but with the help of the local vet, Tom Hanley in Scariff, he gave her shots of it was like cortisone, or it was that they gave her a shot anyway, and she really recovered back. Now, she always had the look of a dog that was had a stroke, but she managed. She was up and about and around, and the next thing, about a year and a half after she got the first stroke, she got another stroke, and there was nothing that could be done for her. She was going down and down and down, and the decision had to be taken to out of kindness to her to put her down, and it was like, very hard, very hard. It was like losing a child almost, I often tell people that there was times when I looked at her and I was expecting her to say hello, or let's go for a walk, or how are you doing today, because the way she looked at you was almost like she's going to talk any second now, she's going to say something. And she's gone now a couple of years, and it's funny because people often mention her to me. They say, I remember your dog Pepper, and she was a great dog, and she was a great dog, like, absolutely. She minded my young daughters like they were her own pups. Like, if they went anywhere, she followed them. If anybody came near them, she'd growl and bark, and anybody came near the house at night time, you knew there was someone around. So she's a big loss. People say, I think of my dog every day, and people say, jackass, will you stop talking rubbish? But you would actually, and you'd walk out and you'd see a sheepdog going by, or like she was a little sheepdog, and you'd say, remember Pepper, running around the field just like her. And it was a huge, it was almost like we were grieving for weeks on end after her, Now, we had Pepperoni at the time, so she had kind of overlapped, and Pepper had taught her some of her tricks, so that was good in itself. You kind of had a bit like Dara was saying, he got Bruno to replace Coco, and we had Pepperoni took over from Pepper, so it did soften the blow, but it was very hard now.
Even for me, I found we did get Bruno effectively straight away. It was actually the next day that my dad drove up to Loughrea to collect Bruno, and Dad it's a kind of person who he didn't want to be without a dog. He needed the companionship, and it wasn't even that he loved that companionship. So I think for me initially, I didn't actually bond with Bruno. I found it too hard, and I was of a completely different mindset where I just didn't believe I could actually replace my friend for 7 years with a new dog. But funny enough, it was 3 days after we got Bruno that Bruno had been only 12 weeks old. He was up on the couch in the dining room, and what did Bruno do? Only jump right over the side of the couch as high as these armchairs are, even higher than that, and went landed straight down. I was like, So this was early enough in the morning. I was actually in bed at the time, and I just heard the yelping. And it was actually at that moment that I went up and I just grabbed the dog and I just called him into my arms. And I just knew then that, like, the way he even licked my face as he was like roaring in pain. Luckily the dog's leg wasn't broken. That would have been pretty bad after 3 days, but I knew then. I knew that like everything was going to be okay. And like, I've never forgotten Coco. She was a very important part of my life, same way that Pepper would have been a huge importance of your life too.
Yeah,
and
huge. Yeah.
like, that's the thing, you never forget that bond that you had with them. And I suppose when you look at the bond that we have with dogs and the positive impact that they have on our mental health, we also have to look at the impact that we have on their mental health. And it's Dr. Karen Shaw Becker who recently just came out with research that said that dogs are stressed out by the smell of human fear, and they can actually not only like hear it in your voice or see the look in your face, but they can actually smell your emotions. And Linköping University in Sweden have also recently claimed that dogs actually mirror our stress levels, so when we're stressed, our dogs are stressed too.
I could see how that would happen, yeah, because they get such a bond with you. They're almost like your twin in some ways. That they go everywhere with you. If you have an inside dog, the dog will be inside at night time. You're going to bed, the dog goes to bed. You get up in the morning, the dog gets up. You have some tea, the dog is fed. You go for a walk, the dog is going walking. So like they're like an addition onto your body in some way. So it's not surprising that if you feel you're in good humour, they're in good humour, you feel stressed, they feel stressed, you feel fear, they're wondering why you're feeling fear. So it's, as I said, they're almost like a twin. It's hard to describe it, but they definitely build a bond with you. And you often hear stories of dogs being lost or jump out of a car, and then 50 miles from home, and 2 weeks later the dog arrives in the front gate. So you have to, I suppose, you build that bond over a while. And as you say, Darragh, that about Bruno after 3 days, it was like the dog was almost telling you, it'll be all right. Coco is okay. Don't worry, I'm taking over now from Coco. So it's a bit like pepperoni and pepper.
And you mentioned there that like dogs they'll find their way home to you, and it's very interesting because one of my favourite films as a child would have been Homeward Bound, the story of the two dogs and the cat who made a home from hundreds of miles away. And I only think of that, like, lately there was actually a dog that went missing out in Clorina, and the dog was missing for about 2 weeks and was spotted in about 20 different places in Limerick, out as far as Ballynehy and beyond, and out as far as Kilmallock. And even over the other side there was actually security footage of the dog over by Musgraves. So the dog, like, I think it was spotted out near Capamore or somewhere on stage too. But like, these were actual sightings, and the dog just travelled all over Limerick. I don't know, I think the dog just probably went away on holidays or something for a couple of weeks, but it was really interesting because one of the neighbours actually had it about 2 weeks later, the dog actually running up the driveway of the actual owner's house and actually making their own way home. And like, as long as they were missing, they still made their own way home.
Yeah, I remember that movie, Homeward Bound. Was that? I think that was the one with, was it Michael J. Fox?
I think it could have been, yeah.
Doing the voiceover. And it made a lot of sense that dog was finding its way back to its owner. No hard feelings from the dog as to why it was where it was, and that's what dogs do. They'll try and find their way back.
And like, it shows the bond once again that's there between like a man and dog. And it's, I suppose, you look at how when we walk in home in the evenings, you look at how our dogs greet us, and you look at the excitement. I see it with Bruno every evening, the amount of jumping all over me that he does, and he nearly knocks me back out the door, but he's just so excited to see me. And same with Millie. Millie would just stand there for a couple minutes and let Bruno get the excitement out of the system, because she's the older, more clever one. But like, it's just a joy in our face, and that joy is brought by us returning home to them.
Oh, definitely, yeah. And they love to see you. They've waited all day to see you, and when you come home, they're kind of going, "Oh, he's back, or she's back, and they love that, and they will be excited for a couple of minutes, and then they calm down and they go, "Okay, he's here now. My pet is here." So, because like we might look at dogs as our pets, but I'm sure dogs look at us as their pets. Like, pet is home now, and we'll go for a walk now shortly, and we'll have a bit of fun, and then the pet will relax for the evening, and I'll relax, and everybody will be happy.
Exactly. Okay, Kieran, we're gonna move on a small bit there, and we're gonna do. It's a new game that we're introducing this week, and the name of the game is called Who's Barking. So I have a series of clips of dogs barking here, right?
Good man.
Different breeds, and what I want you to do is I want you to guess what breed is barking.
Oh, yeah, okay. Why not?
So, just a little fun, like we introduce other games, like picture games, like what's that crossbreed and what's the breed of dog, and we'll take a break from that for this week just to go with this here. So I'm going to play the first one here, and you should be able to hear it, I hope.
Oh, I would say a cross dog. Maybe some kind of terrier. Next question.
Okay, so it's actually a beagle.
Oh, okay. Well, that was my next guess.
Okay, so the next one is a small dog. It's, I suppose, what people class as a handbag dog.
Oh, I'd say that's some kind of a Shih Tzu.
You're not going too well so far. A Chihuahua.
Well, that's the name I couldn't think of. Yeah. So I said Shih Tzu. Yeah.
Okay, so the next one is a bigger dog, and I've actually name dropped this breed a couple of times today. Think of my own breed.
I would think Doberman. Or maybe a dog just like Bruno.
And what breed is Bruno?
Bruno is a big black hairy dog. He would be maybe Labrador.
Yay.
That's what I was thinking when I said Doberman.
Okay, so we have two more.
Oh, that's definitely a sheepdog.
A sheepdog, are you sure about that now?
100%. And if it's not, it should be.
It's a Rottweiler.
Oh, Rottweiler. Oh, okay. Well, I'll remember that bark when I hear it. I won't be running up to rub him. I'll be running the opposite direction.
And this is a big dog too. They howl a lot.
Oh, I'd say... No, I haven't a clue. I'll say a bull mastiff.
Actually a husky.
Oh, husky. Oh, sounds very like a bull mastiff. I'd say the only one I'd get is probably this one there. Woof, woof. That was me.
So given how Kieran did quite disastrous at Who's Barking, we decided to see could we find someone who loves dogs more than anyone that I know. Joining me now is my awesome partner in crime, the one person who Bruno and Millie go crazy for more than me, the girl who Bruno was my wing doggy for, good Bruno, 3.5 years ago. Jen. Hey Jen.
Hey,
You ready
happy
to
to
play?
be here.
You ready to play?
Yeah.
Okay, so here's how the game works. I'll play 6 sounds of different dogs barking. You need to guess the breeds of each dog.
Perfect.
Sound good?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay then. So, here comes the first sound.
Oh, that's definitely a vegan.
Correct.
No doubt about it.
Okay. 1 out of 1 so far.
Yay.
I think you're already doing better than Kieran. So the next one is a small dog. I'll give you a clue. It's a handbag dog.
one that's painful. Is it Chihuahua?
It's a Chihuahua. Okay, so the next one, smallish dog but cute.
I don't know. A Bichon?
It is a King Charles.
Oh.
Now, the next one is, I suppose, think of your, what do you call your doggies?
My babies. That's definitely a lab. It sounds just like Minnie.
It really does, doesn't it? Okay, so far that is 3 or 4. Kieran, I'm sorry you have lost your chance to spend a dinner with me.
So can I get you ketchup, mayo, or plain ones? Both. You're welcome.
So yeah, Kieran, I'm sorry, but you've lost the opportunity to win dinner with me. So that was the prize. Unfortunately, it's kind of out the window there now with you. I might buy you a bag of tape or something though. So the next
Bag
one.
of chips from Donkey Fords.
Bag of chips from Donkey Fords. Okay, so here is the next one.
That's a Bernese.
Try again.
Ooh. Oh, it's a Rottweiler.
It's a Rottweiler, you're correct. Oh, you're really good at this. Okay, and the last one. I can give you a clue on this. It's a big dog. It's a dog that Bruno hates. What breed does Bruno not like?
Huskies. Thanks very much.
You're welcome. Enjoy.
So, you got 5 out of 6.
Yay.
How was that?
Pretty good. When do I get my free dinner?
Later on this evening. There we go. Ooh, free chips. Okay.
Free, I paid for them.
Okay, so Jen, you win this week on Who's Barking.
Yay.
Will you join us again?
Sure.
Awesome.
Why not?
Okay, that's great. So, finally for today, what we're going to do is we're going to have a look at our adoption corner for this week, which is with Ash Animal Rescue in County Wicklow this week. You can visit them on ashanimalrescue.com to see everything that they have available for rehoming, but we're just going to take a few here that we actually have here, and the first one here is Cher, think of the singer, but a beautiful dog here. Cher is a 4-year-old collie cross of some description, so they don't even know what she's a cross with, but sure, like, who cares? She looks like a beautiful dog there, and she had always playing ball and would chase a toy for hours given the chance. So she's looking for a home with no small children would be best suited, because she could unintentionally knock small children over. Honestly, I have no complaints with that really. Next up we have Bruno, lots smaller than my Bruno now, and Bruno is a 3-year-old Jack Russell who was surrendered due to a change in circumstances, and I'm going to touch on that in a minute there, because that's got to be very hard for dogs, like when things like that happen, like you see of dogs being surrendered, and particularly given that it is Mental Health Week, that has to like do real damage to dogs.
I'm sure, without a doubt.
And a beautiful little boy looking for his forever home there. And next up we have Malcolm. Malcolm is a pit bull terrier, and I think as we spoke with Tony McKenna in episode 1, Tony was our dog trainer from the Barking Baker who was on, and like Tony mentioned that like pit bulls get such a bad rep, and like you look at this little guy here who is like he looks absolutely adorable, and Malcolm is his name. He is very affectionate and adores people and extremely friendly. Whoever meets him falls in love. So Malcolm is 2-year-old pit bull terrier looking for his forever home. And we're going to take one more here, and we have Teddy Bear. Now this guy is a big teddy bear. He is a 6-year-old German Shepherd who once again was surrendered due to a change in circumstances, and he was adopted when he was a puppy but returned after 2 years. Now this guy here looks absolutely beautiful, and like again, there are a breed German Shepherds that get a bad rep and have done over the years because they were just considered guard dogs. But actually, I'll take one more. We have Sadie as well, Sadie doesn't really look like a German Shepherd. Said it looks maybe more like a husky kind of, you know, but
very much so,
a German Shepherd Husky cross, and was found straying, and she's about 2 to 3 years old and a gorgeous lady, greyhound leading, loves people. But you know, when you think about these dogs being surrendered, and like, look at what that must do to them. Like, look, what could that do to their health?
It's terrible, you know, that they formed a little bit of a bond with their owner, we'll say, and then all of a sudden, due to whatever circumstance, they're just abandoned, or they're put into a dog's home or recovery home, or one of these places, and then like they're looking at their owner going away, and they're wondering are they going to come back for them, and they don't. It must
devastate.
It must be devastating for them.
Yeah.
And I've no doubt that.
And hopefully those dogs from Ash will find their forever home. Once again, you can check out all the dogs available, and Ash have many other animals available. I believe they have cats, they have I think they have donkeys maybe as well, I saw somewhere. But like, again, like, these are all animals that are looking for their forever home, and check them out on ashanimalrescue.com. So that's about all the time we have for today. Kieran, once again, fantastic to have you on the show, and thank you so much for joining for this mental health special. And it was great chatting to you about your own dog, and like how the positive effect that your dog has had on you. So
it's been a pleasure, Darren, and I have to compliment you on all the great work you're doing there, getting the word out that there's rescue dogs out there. They need help, they need owners, they need new homes. So you're doing fantastic work, and best luck in the future.
Thank you, Kieran. And again, thanks a million to Tim Kirby also for joining us today from Petband.ie. Be sure to give their a good check there if you're looking for a new dog or new cat or anything to adopt, and Tim will be more than happy to help you on that. Kieran, we'll leave it at that, and next week we do have our Pet Friendly Ireland special. Be sure in the meantime to check out both our Facebook and Instagram pages. On Facebook you can find us on Barking Mad Ireland, and on Instagram you can find us at barkingmad_IE. We do have a good competition running at the moment on Instagram, where once we hit 750 followers, we will be giving away 2 hampers, one for you and one for a friend that you have tagged in your comments underneath. Just look for the picture of our beautiful Millie, and that is linked to the competition post. Be sure to check us out on thebigbark.ie, and be sure to check out Barking Mad on barkingmad.ie. Until next week, have a good week.